Welcome, Strategic Prepper community. We got a great topic today. What are we talking about?
How to plan.
How to plan. So many people in our community do not plan.
Yeah, and we talk about it a lot in our videos, but we decided, hey, let's actually make a video
on how.
The basics, fundamentals, how to even develop a plan to begin with.
You know what they say? There's a saying on planning. If you fail to plan, you have planned to fail.
Was that your saying that you were telling me about earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No, it's a good. It's true. It's absolutely true.
If you fail to plan, you have planned to fail.
Yep.
So we want to talk about planning. So what's the first thing you got to do?
Real basic. You got to know where you're at, where you want to be. Those are the two things you have to. Right. It's just like reading a map. If you don't know where you're at and you don't know where you're going, how are you going to get there?
So you got to be honest about where you're at. And what do they call that? I know what I call it.
What?
Vision. Where you want to be.
Yeah.
That's the fancy word, but that's really what it is. It's
well, and you see people. You want to have that long term, and you could use this is even outside of just prepping, just life in general. But a lot of people will start doing stuff, and they're looking like right in front of them, whether that's time wise, a month or a year. They don't really have that long term vision, so they don't really understand where they're trying to go. You end up wasting a lot of resources, a lot of time doing that. So you want to understand, what's my end goal? What am I trying to accomplish?
And you end up not getting there. And if you don't really have a goal,
yeah,
I want to prep. See, this is why people ask, "What are you prepping for?"
Yeah,
right, because they're trying to get a hold of a vision. And although you and I think that prepping for a very singular scenario is probably not the most effective or efficient way, but that is people trying to grab a hold of a vision so they know where they're going.
Yep.
And very important. All right, so you got to know where you're at. You got to know where you want to be. So then you just start working towards where you want to be.
Yeah. So you got to develop, really, to break it down simply, a long-term, a medium, and a short-term, medium, and a long-term goal.
Yeah. It's kind of like what they say about the elephant. How do you eat an elephant?
Yeah, one bite at a time.
One bite at a time. Short-term goal. I'm going to take this bite.
Yeah.
And this prepping's the same way, because there's so much to do with prepping. And I mean, we have come so far over the years, and we didn't do it because we tried to do it all at once.
Yeah, you'll see people will put time and resources into something like a long-term goal, and they don't even have any of their short-term goals accomplished yet. You're just wasting resources.
Let me give you guys an example. Long-term goal: I want a homestead, and I want to raise my own gardens and my own food and all that other stuff. Great long-term goal. And yet, while you're in the suburbs and you're in the urban areas, do you have any short-term goals on learning how to grow food? That's what I did. That's what you did. And so as a short-term goal, I put some raised beds in, and I practiced growing berries and tomatoes and the basil and things like that. And so I had the short-term goal that I could work on right now, and that helped me so that now that we're on our homesteads, it makes it a lot easier because it's working towards that long-term goal. But it's something I could accomplish.
Well, and even like let's look at a specific example, like food storage. And so you'll see people, I've seen people spend a lot of resources, let's say, on buying the expensive long-term, number 10 cans, stuff with a 25-year shelf life, but they don't even, they have 2 days worth of food in their pantry. They don't even have like a working pantry.
Exactly.
No, you start small. It doesn't make sense to have all that. You don't even have a working pantry. And you could do that concept with anything.
And let's take your concept, because you learn things with the short-term goals. And for example, on the food storage, you start building your short-term pantry, and you learn about stock rotation. And I was reading a post very recently from this one lady who basically, she was saying, all right, I did all this food preservation, and now so much of my stuff is about set to expire. What do I do? Well, that's because she jumped without taking the short-term step of learning things like stock rotation. She just bought a whole bunch.
Yep.
And oh my gosh, now it's going to go bad. And
you want to start slow. Don't jump into the deep end.
Yeah, step by step, and you build your knowledge, build your experience. And I mean, it's not going to happen with me because I rotate my stock, so I've got a pretty good food reserve. But I've learned well, I've learned, for example, food preservation. I can add to my own. I just made some pickles, by the way. Yeah, old Gil here made some pickles for the first time. We'll see how they come out, and in a few weeks we'll try some. But yeah, so yeah, that's another thing. I'm not going to go can my whole garden. I started out. We have a video on me learning canning for the first time on some berries, and I'll have a link to that somewhere.
But yeah, as you do it, your long-term goal is going to end up being like a low resolution picture, right? As you move forward, that's going to get higher and higher resolution. Just like with the property here, trying to develop the homestead, I had certain ideas and plans that drew up when we moved in here last year, and now just what, 6 months later, or no, I guess it's like 8 months later. A lot of that is changing. My placement, all that's changing. So if I had dedicated, I have a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, I have all these plans. If I had dedicated all those resources into some of those long-term things, now I'm realizing some of my ideas long-term where I want to be are different, right? I'm changing them. And so, yeah, I just focus on the short term as I learn, as I grow, as I move closer to those long-term plans. You get the higher resolution picture, and then you start understanding, okay, what I thought I needed is actually different. And it really just gets into concentric circles. So we're gonna have a more in-depth video on our Patreon page. You'll hear on our videos a lot. We talk about concentric circles. It is a crucial, critical component to planning correctly. It's
yeah. If you want to have a continuous improvement plan where you continuously get better, because we're never there, and
without glaring blind spots and weaknesses.
Without glaring blind spots, and without the feeling that is overwhelming or feeling that you're failing, you want to continuously have success. Our concentric circles is the plan, and we have that on our Patreon. We're going to be finishing that up real shortly. That's on our Patreon. But we talk about goals.
Yep.
Smart.
Yep.
Smart. We live by the SMART. We don't sit there and write it out. The SMART acronym: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-based. For those of you guys who may not have heard that. But the big thing is achievable. Those short-term goals. They're achievable. Because a lot of times the long-term goals are not. They're long-term for a reason.
Yeah.
Because I can't achieve them in the short term. So it's important to have something achievable. We need to have those victories. We need to have that success. So I love the idea of the short-term goals, helping work towards the medium and the longer-term goals. And an example, I'm building a rain catchment system right now. A year ago, that was not a short-term goal. There's no way I could have done that. But now I've got the gutters up and I've got the rain barrels, and I'm working on this a little bit each day, and it's very achievable, and it's going to be done really soon.
Yeah. Yep.
Achievable, and I'll have a check mark. Victory.
As you do it, you learn, and then as you learn, right, and you grow. I don't mean that specifically, but as you do.
No. You say that we've got a couple of videos coming up on this. So as you say this, first of all, I have to do the other side of the house.
Yeah.
It's going to be a whole lot faster than the first side of the house.
Yeah.
And I'm doing things differently than I started on the first side.
Oh, yeah.
Because some things didn't work.
Yep.
Right. But the short-term goal is, hey, let's get, I started actually with the 1 barrel on the shed. Let's do 1 barrel. Okay, I did 1 barrel. Wow, that was good. Let's have another short-term goal. Let's do 1 on the other side. Boom, I did that. Now I'm working on the house. And they're victories. Oh, yeah. They give us these victories as we march towards those long-term goals.
Yeah, and a lot of those long-term big goals are going to require research, and they're going to require a lot of knowledge you don't have. And so as you focusing on the short term also allows you to do that research, to learn, to contact people, all that kind of stuff, which is all going to change. By the end of the process, your long-term goal is going to be probably different than what you initially set it out to be, which is okay. Versus if you just try to sink in all those resources into the big long-term goals from the get-go, you'll end up doing it, and then by the time you get going, you realize, oh, I really should have done something different. You know, that's not a good feeling.
So start slow and just keep learning and build your plan. And I like to have things written down because sometimes we tend to forget. Build your plan, build your goals around your plan. And I like short-term goals, longer-term goals. and I've got goals for the week. I sit down as I go into the weekend. I sit down. What am I going to accomplish this weekend?
Yep, and I got it
Short-term
by day. Saturday,
Yeah.
what am I going to do Saturday? What am I going to do Sunday? Okay, I push it out to next week. And,
Yeah. Do I reach my goals all the time? Nope. Nope.
No, usually I have more goals on the weekend that I know I can accomplish, but at least I'm not going to waste time. You know.
Now, occasionally I have a good weekend, and I accomplish my goals, and I'm like, okay, now what? But I've got those next medium-term goals, something else I can work on.
Yep.
So let's recap.
Figure out where you are, where you want to be. That's huge, right?
Very huge.
And then come up with a short, a medium, and a long-term goal.
Or several long.
Several. Yeah. But you want those categories, and you
Right.
start with the short term. Start with what's in front of you right now. Those long-term goals, you know.
That's where the time-based comes in.
Yeah.
I want to accomplish this by the end of the year. I want to accomplish this by the end of the weekend.
Yeah, and we, like we said, we got that on our properties. You know, we got these goals mapped out in our head. You know, 5-year plans basically.
Yeah.
Yep. And what was the last part?
The last part is slow down, learn.
Yep.
Just learn as you go.
Yeah. Don't.
And have fun. Have fun. Yeah. There's so many people that stress out over prepping. It really troubles me. This is fun. This is exciting. Just enjoy it. If you're not enjoying it, you need to change up how you're doing things. Enjoy this. We are learning stuff that most people have forgotten. You know, 3 generations ago, people knew. Most people don't know. And I have fun.
Yeah, I like it.
I
enjoy it.
It's a lot of work, but I enjoy it. All right.
Yeah. So if you want to learn about concentric circles, go to our Patreon. We're going to have an in-depth class. Like I said, it is absolutely critical to learn how to utilize that concept to plan correctly. Your prepping will be more well-rounded. It'll save you headaches and money, and also it'll, like I said, it'll make everything well-rounded. It'll make you a more effective prepper. So that'll be on our Patreon. Stay safe, stay prepared.